this
because
one's gonna crash way worse, being 14-3.
I mean, we were 10-0. We were 10-0 in 2022, bro.
Yeah, but 13-3 to end, right? All right, welcome back, Borderline Sports, episode 5. Host KB, co-host TD. How we doing?
Doing good, doing good. Um, well, I could be doing better after Sunday night, but yeah, we're ready to bring it to you this week. Apologies for not having an episode for you last week, but this week we'll be going over a little NFL recap from week 18, and then we're gonna bring a little wild card weekend action to you. Got a lot of big games for our teams upcoming, and the other teams in the playoffs as well. And we're also going to talk a little bit of college football. So we're excited for those games coming up tomorrow, college football playoffs. So let's get into it, huh?
Do it. Let's kick it off, dude.
Why don't we get into week 18, just NFL recaps from last week. We know that a lot of these games were kind of not noteworthy or basically just backups plans. So we're only going to go into some of them. Basically, the ones where there was some sort of important outcome from the game, or it was a playoff team plan. So yeah, let's kick it off. Bengals 19, Steelers 17. What'd you see from this one?
This one, I don't know. It's the Steelers are incompetent. Like I said, I think I said it last week or 2 weeks ago, last pod. It's a good thing they locked up the playoffs when they did because just coming down the stretch, they really showed no life. And, I just don't see them making noise this year in the playoffs at all. And then I don't know if I would have said that like halfway through the year. They kind of looked decent on offense, and they always have a good defense, but they really stagnated on offense and the defense. I know they had a strip sack come back after a penalty, but at the end of the day, you got to move the football a little bit and get your D off the field. So that's pretty much what I saw. I mean, the Bengals didn't look great. They kept their playoff chances alive, but all know that didn't come to fruition. But that's kind of what I saw there.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just kind of the Steelers doing the same thing they do every single season for, basically, I don't, since Ben Roethlisberger's prime, basically. They are always in the playoffs, but barely squeaking in usually. And just have these seasons where they're not going to get a good draft pick. They're probably going to lose first round to the Ravens next week. It's you got to love Tomlin because he always wins, but they're not really making any noise, and they're just kind of becoming like they just are consistently this tiny bit above average wild card team. So I think there's a lot of promise there for them early in the season, but yeah, it's got to be frustrating. But yeah, I mean, just back to the game in general. I was positive this game was going to be a tie and go to overtime because that's just what the Bengals do. Seems like week in and week out. So I bet my buddy $20 on that. That did not end up happening, but the Bengals looked decent in this game. They kept their playoff hopes alive, but it was just too little, too late for them. I would just say, main thing I took away from this is just that what I talked about the Steelers just not just being a mid team, being mid.
Yeah, I
So
don't know what the Steelers are doing, dude. I mean, George Pickens had 6 targets, 1 catch, 0 yards. You got to feature your guy. I know he dropped a couple bad passes, but I mean, Mike Williams had 1 catch. Like those are the top 2 receivers and are two pretty high-end receivers, at that too. And it's like they were just really feeble throwing the ball in general outside of the Freiermuth, and their rushing just wasn't great. And this is a Bengals D that's legitimately horrible. So, you're gonna, make some. I think I don't even know what the score was last time, but I think the Steelers put up 42 against the Bengals. So yeah, 44-38. So, a lot of regression there. And it's not like the Bengals really got anything, you know, special their way. And I guess the other thing I saw in this game was, Trey Hendrickson's like a legitimate beast, and I don't think anyone ever talks about him. led the NFL in sacks this year. I think he had 2.5 or three in this game. And he's just really good year in, year out. He led the NFL last year in sacks, and he's just not one of those guys you think about when you think about pass rushers. So just want
For
to give,
sure.
him a little shout for being a dog and
Yeah.
never, never making noise. So
No, I mean, I agree with that, but there's a reason no one talks about them, and that's because they have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they were a joke most of the season. But that shouldn't take anything away from him. It's just he's not going to get credit if the defense is overall terrible. But I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean, he is a beast.
um, moving on, another Sunday game didn't really matter. Ravens, Browns. So early game Saturday, Bears 24, Packers 22. It sucks to see the Bears win streak snapped, but at the same time, Jordan Love went down second quarter, pulled Jacobs second quarter. Watson got hurt. Pretty much all backs against the wall. There's a horrible the punt return touchdown to start the game, blatant holding. I was at this game, happened right in front of the bench, right in front of us. It was kind of like one of those, like, how did you miss that? Because if you watch the play, it's like a fake. Like they act like they're returning it one way, they're returning it the other side. There's only two Packers players on that side. So like to not see one of them get like egregiously held was kind of like whatever. So that's how the game started. And then there's a couple, I don't know, there's just a lot of questionable roughing in that game, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So not too upset about it, but just saw a lot of really fluky stuff go down there. And
Did they come out with and say, is Christian Watson done for the season? Yeah,
yeah,
he's
he
got
tore his ACL.
on a non-contact knee injury. I mean, that's got to be a cause for concern there.
I mean, his ligaments been holding on since he got drafted for dear life. Like,
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, he had a lot of promise. He's a big play threat, but just he had some unfortunate circumstances and a lot of drops that have kind of held him back. It seems like, but yeah, I mean, I think it is nice that Caleb Williams was able to get a win. He looked like he was psyched on that walking back from the locker room, but again, kind of a meaningless game, especially for them. I mean, um, it is tough with those injuries going down. I mean, is Jordan Love a good to go for next week then?
yeah, I think it was just he kind of just lost feeling. There's nothing, nothing structural. I don't know if I think it might have been like he was making a screen pass. I don't know if he hit someone's helmet. Honestly, we just saw him and then never saw him come back in the game. He was warming up on the last drive though. So like, um, he was getting ready to go back in, and at the end of the day, it was LaFleur that just said, "Who cares? We can go drive it with Malik," and that's what they did. I mean, they went down and got a field goal to put them ahead, but um, that's all right. And I mean, Dobbs was out too. He got sick before the game, so it's like. But one thing to know, like Malik Heath, who's like probably our fifth string wide receiver at the beginning of the season, has been playing really good. Had like a really crazy catch in traffic. So excited to see what he can do now that Watson's out, getting a little more playing time. Hit a touchdown catch against the Vikings. So could be a dog.
Malik
Um,
Heath, the name to remember right there.
yeah, buying stock early. Texans 23, Titans 14. This is just a dumb game. Texans suck. Titans suck. Just
Yeah.
suck off. AFC South sucks. Um, I can't wait for them to get eliminated from the playoffs first round and just be done with them. Um, this is I dude, I'm taking Malik Willis over CJ Stroud right now. Like that's just I'm doing it.
That's a bold call right there.
But I didn't watch this. Like I said, I was at the Bears Packers game, so no idea what went on. All I know is couldn't have been fun to watch.
Right. Yeah, the only reason I even, I figured we could go over this game is just, Titans are going to have the number one pick and Houston's in the playoffs. So, you know, any thoughts on who you would take if you were the Titans? I mean, I really don't like this draft, man. I like skill player wise, it's not that bad, but for quarterbacks, like Are they probably going to go Travis Hunter or
I think Cam Ward's the best quarterback in the draft. So
yeah.
I mean, Shadeur is, I don't know. I understand he's probably the best or top three with what they have coming out this year, but in terms of like actually being able to play in the NFL, I just don't know. Like, drafting him number one is like that's like a fireable offense in a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those QBs that gets people fired. So I don't know. I mean, not hating on the guy. I think he's a solid player, but I just don't think he's step into a franchise like Tennessee Titans and turn them around. So if I don't know, trade back, trade back. They have a really good offensive line. Maybe they can stack a couple players at skill positions and give Levis one more shot to kind of do it. And it's not you bring in Shadeur, it's not like you're contending for a Super Bowl anyways. So it's like stack some
Yeah.
players, see what can happen. Also see some interesting stuff, like with Kirk possibly being able to be on the move. You got JJ or Darnold, one of the two, potentially being, on the move. So, for them who have, they have a really good offensive line. They have a pretty good defense. If you get some skill players and get a veteran quarterback in there, you might be better off than just taking Shadeur, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I also think, the risk of drafting Shador to like, a Tennessee Titans, a smaller market team. I don't love that situation. I
No.
feel like if it was the Giants even, I would like it a little bit more, which I feel like it could still potentially become that. But yeah, I just feel like his dad being who he is, he wants him to be in the spotlight, and I don't think I don't yeah, I wouldn't want him to go there. I also wouldn't want him to go to the Browns. But I think the Giants sitting at that number three pick, maybe you take Shador. I would assume the Titans probably go with Travis Hunter, but
Dude, if I'm the Titans, I'm probably seeing what Vegas will give me at the sixth spot because I know they want
mm,
Shadeur, you know what I mean? So it's,
right.
can you grab their six, maybe a first round pick next year, like a couple second rounders or something to really kind of fill out that roster. And like I said, use it, get a playmaker wide receiver, get a couple other studs or, decent players and see if you can, go out and get Kirk, get Darnold, JJ, one of those quarterbacks that, can at least step in and
Three Vikings quarterbacks.
step in and be competent. They'll never win a Super Bowl, but they'll get you to the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, trading down wouldn't be the worst idea. I mean, the Browns definitely need a quarterback though, so I would assume the Browns
That's
would
why
also.
I think they're gonna be out. I know Vegas wants him, and I know, Cleveland wants a quarterback too. So it's like I think the best if I'm Cleveland, I'm gonna act like I'm taking Shadeur, get Vegas to trade up, take Shadeur. Cleveland takes Cam Ward, and the Giants are left just in a perpetual state of piss.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. We'll see if that shakes out. But what are the Jags going to do at the five as well?
They gotta go back to Trevor Lawrence, right? Like
You
he's got
can't give up yet. You can't give up yet, right?
right. I mean, they have good skilled
Probably just not
players
even
and
worth it in this draft to
they're
like
taking a
take a
lineman.
risk.
They're
Yeah,
taking a lineman for sure.
yeah. Now with
Um,
the emergence of Brian Thomas, um, that's at least a weapon that he has. Um,
yeah.
but all right, well, we'll probably touch a little bit more on the draft upcoming soon, but let's keep going through our slate. Um, we kind of touched on this, and we just can really do one thought. But Patriots 23, Bills 16. Obviously, the Patriots. This is not the game you necessarily want to win um, at all. You lost the number one pick. But I think there is some promise up there in New England. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, I mean, Joe Milton showed like he's competent and, the knock on him always was like he could throw the ball super hard, but he's kind of just didn't have the best decision making process there. So he was pretty, I don't know, effective, efficient, and played pretty well. So, is that an option for a team, to like Malik Willis? The Packers gave up a seventh round pick for him, and he came in and can, he can give you, starting QB stuff. He's not going to go out and throw for four tutties and 350 yards, like not Joe Burrow, but
No, I mean,
if you're in a pinch, he's better. He's better than Will Levis. Tell you that. Take him over Aiden O'Connell. Take him over. Just a lot of those fringe
given
quarterbacks.
he
So
was playing the second strings or third strings, but
they were also
he
playing.
does have he has promise for that young that like he's got a lot of talent, that's for sure. Dude can fucking sling it.
Yeah,
And he can, he had some pretty impressive plays, just scrambling around in the pocket and making shit happen last week. So kind of curious, yeah, what they decide to do there, if there would be a team that would be willing to trade with them, and maybe the Patriots can add a pick, or even I don't know if they would want to move up in a draft to get a skill player, but just kind of something to think about there.
Patriots with getting Travis Hunter would have been just such a good
Yeah, that's what I'm
fit,
saying. Like,
and they just fucked that up.
would they be able to give their pick and I don't know, give their pick and Joe Milton and maybe one other asset for, the Titans number one pick or the Browns pick, or, you know, they definitely, I mean, they need a lot of things. They need a running back too. So
Yeah, and I mean,
maybe
of these teams that are in the top, let's just say five, I honestly think the Titans aren't like in the worst spot of some of these teams. Like the Giants are really feeble everywhere. Browns are pretty feeble everywhere. So
the
is it
Browns might just be the most cooked, honestly, in my opinion. Like the Giants at least have Malik Neighbors. So if they could get a quarterback,
it's true.
Shador to Malik would be entertaining, at least.
Yeah,
Um,
I did see that Neighbors was asked about him and he kind of like was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about him. I feel like he wants Cam Ward. I would too, personally. I think Cam Ward's head and shoulders better than him and has shown that throughout their career. I mean, talking about teams they play against, stuff like that. I mean, Colorado's in the Big 12. They're playing dust every week.
mhm,
ACC's at least, it's probably the third best conference. So, um,
right. Yeah, I'm seeing in this mock draft at least Cam Ward to the Titans, Shador to the Browns, Travis Hunter to the Jets, and then this offensive tackle to the Patriots. I don't know, just kind of interesting. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it does seem like these quarterbacks just like we never think they're going to be going, like at the top, and then it's just like how many quarterbacks were taken in the first 11 or 12 picks last year? Like six. It's pretty crazy, dude.
I
People
think it
will
was
do
eight.
whatever.
I think it was eight in the first round.
Yeah,
I don't know.
eight in the first.
I've also
Yeah.
seen what's his name from Penn State making a lot of noise in terms of pushing up. Same with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart looks really, really good in their bowl game. So, it comes down to how they perform at the combine, how teams like the fit, stuff like that. But I don't know. Call me crazy. I wish I could bet on the Titans trading with the Raiders. I wish I could
Mhm.
find where that's at, 'cause I think that's just bound to happen.
Yeah. It's interesting to see Genty all the way at 19 now to Houston.
This one I'm looking at, it's got Genty at 12 to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm looking at a CBS Sports one.
And I could see it. I mean, Cowboys could have had Braylon Allen last year, second round, didn't draft him, and then they're starting Zeke Elliott. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm also curious, speaking of Braylon Allen, like, I mean, who knows if the Jets fucking dumpster fire, but like, are they gonna stick with Brees for sure? I mean, I think for another season, yeah. Um, but
Yeah, I don't
they're
know.
gonna have a lot of players to pay here,
So
and they're gonna have
I wish
money
I
to
could
shell over.
get some info on where some of these like free agent waiver players are going for the playoffs. I've seen I think the Chargers picked up Zeke. I've heard some noise about the pack because the Packers have two spots because Jair and Watson are out. So I've seen Xavier Howard as an option for cornerback. Um, I've seen I don't even know if this guy was being serious, but Hunter Renfrow for wide receiver. Just I don't know. That's something to keep an
I
eye on. And
I think I saw a similar tweet. To be honest, you're talking about the Packers.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be pretty cool if Devontae got waived and came back. That'd be actually scary.
Yeah, Packers always be talking in those types of hypotheticals, though. That shit never happens, buddy. But
Bucks 27, Saints 19. Didn't watch it. Don't care about this game. What'd you see?
um, Jalen McMillan's good. Only reason, yeah, I think only reason to cover this one just real quick is Bucks play now the Redskins, if I do say
Yeah,
so. Yeah, they play the Redskins. Oh, excuse me, the
come
Commanders.
on,
My
come on.
bad, my bad. Yeah, no, the Commanders, but um, and yeah, I mean Jalen McMillan looks like a good receiver. Did you see that Mike Evans? Them kind of forcing him to get his 1,000 yards at the end. This is not something that the Bucks have not done before either. They did that with like Rob Gronkowski to get him his extra money. So they're very wanting to pay their players. It seems like.
Well, also,
Um,
I also saw it was like the second time for Mike Evans that I think he had like 1,009 this year and a previous year had like 1,005.
oh
And
yeah,
so I just saw someone was talking about like making the argument for straight 1,000 yard seasons is fucking garbage because you got stuff like this going on when the game's clinched. And I mean, I get it. Like, I get the milestone, I get all that, but then use it as like, oh, he's fucking every year had 1,000 yards. Like, obviously, that's like all they did. Like, so, I think it's kind of tarnishing what that actually means. But I mean, good for the guy. And you can tell they like him. And I mean, I like him too, but it's just kind of like, what are we doing here?
right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, like I don't really. It seems like the Bucks, yeah, like I said, the Bucks have done this before in the past, and you just explained that they had, and I know that they did for a fact with Rob Gronkowski to get him a bonus at the end of the year a couple years ago as well. Um, he did miss a couple games, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I guess he tied Jerry Rice's record, so there's some frustration there, or at least fans talking shit. I don't think that many people really care, but
no, but at the same time, it's like, are we really going to say Mike Evans is even remotely as good as Jerry Rice? Like, because
right,
of that? No. So, end of the day, it is what it is.
I feel that.
And I also didn't like, I don't know. I didn't watch the game, but just looking at it, I know New Orleans was leading a lot of this game. Um, Buccaneers had to kind of come back and then, going into the playoffs, just scraping by a Spencer Rattler 5-win Saints team is probably not exactly what you want to be doing. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's true. I think the one thing now is just with the longer seasons, like these records, man, how much work, like there almost needs to be an asterisk, dude, in my opinion. Like you have a whole ass another game to get some of these records. Like, I think that's why the Eagles didn't play Saquon because they were like, I mean, one, they don't want him to get hurt. Two, it was a meaningless game. But three, does the record even really count if it's 17 games? Or yeah, like major asterisk in my point. At least that's what I'd say. But
I would argue the
uh,
Saquon one would have been the only one that had value simply because of how much, running the football was valued in 1984. Like nowadays it's like,
there's an argument there, and I think he had a lot less carries as well. Maybe not a
Yeah.
lot less, but like 30 less or something like that.
And also at the same time in 1984 when the defense is no. So it's twofold, but the game's changed and that's why it's hard to say. But also when you look at some of the passing records, like the Peyton Manning ones, I don't think those will ever be touched. Like
Yeah.
no matter how much this league is passing, just because teams are better now, mostly on defense, especially at stopping the bombs, stuff like that. So it's twofold. The eras change. I mean, you can't go back and talk about 1960s basketball versus now, so it is what it is.
That's that's true. That's true. All right. Well, let's keep it rolling here. Get through these games. Broncos 38, Chiefs 0. I mean, there's not much to say about this game except for maybe Carson Wentz's Sherlock Holmes fit walking in. I'm sure you saw that, but Broncos made the playoffs. Do you think? I have a question for you. Do you think the Chiefs had absolutely zero interest in winning this game, regardless, because they don't want to play? They don't want even the Bengals to sniff the playoffs, or do you think that's a bogus take right there?
I think that's pretty bogus. Like, who cares? I mean, are the Chiefs really scared of any team at this point? It's not like a team that beat them during the regular season. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so I think the only team the Chiefs are scared of is going to
But I think
Buffalo.
they're the only team or the only quarterback to have beaten Patrick Mahomes currently in an AFC Championship game is Joe Burrow. So,
That's fine. They would have taken it to town
but
on
their
that
defense is
defense.
terrible.
Yeah, like that. That's why I think I've seen the same things.
Still
Like
probably been a close game though. I could see. I don't know.
I've seen the things too about oh, you want him in. Like I mean, dude, that defense. Come on, like
It did look like, I mean, a 38-0 whopping though is like really
yeah,
just. But it does happen in these end of the season games where everything's locked up, the one seed's locked up. What do you really have to play for? So,
let me ask
uh,
you, do you think the backups on Kansas City don't want to be in the NFL anymore? You know what I mean? Like these guys are still playing to show. Maybe they won't be with the Chiefs next year, but they want to play for somebody at the end of the day.
right.
Especially
I'm,
the defenders aren't just going out there getting cooked for fun. I mean,
yeah.
so
Cortland Sutton had a kind of an insane game. Oh, not an insane game, but it's crazy how much he's turning around. And Bo Nix did look good. But like you said, playing backups. Carson Wentz, 10 of 17 for 98 yards, and that's it.
yeah,
I don't even know what they were doing though.
they just
I
weren't on
guess just no
offense.
one, no one on offense to
Yeah.
really. They couldn't move the ball probably. I didn't really watch
So
this game, but yeah, congrats to the Broncos on making the playoffs. You know they're frisky. They're a frisky team in the playoffs. I'll give them that.
I'm not giving them
All right, well, let's move on. This is uh, this is the one we've all been
that.
waiting to discuss. Lions 31, Vikings 9. Basically, other than the Bengals Steelers, this is one of the only really meaningful games, it seemed like. Um, well, this one was. People were saying this is the biggest regular season game in history, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it definitely had the playoff game vibe.
I would say it does. How
Yeah,
many times do you see a two 14-2 teams playing,
that's
like
true. It's true. And
with
especially in
something
the
on the
same
line?
division.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Just own up. You guys got cooked.
all right. Yeah. So this is what I saw. The offense, Sam Darnold, he didn't look ready for the big moment. He looked very nervous in this game. I mean, he looked a pale shade of green for a majority of the game. He couldn't hit. He was missing every throw by, a foot, 6 inches to 2 feet, I would say. Everything was just a little bit off. Everything was hurried. Um, Hats off to the Lions D coordinator, dude. They rattled him. I will say, like, I have seen games where our O line did not look good, but their pass rush just I think yeah they took it to us. It was extremely frustrating. I was not happy that I think on those fourth and goal attempts early. I like the fact that we went for the first one. However, Darnold was then like 0 of 4 in the red zone, and we go for it again when we take the ball back. Don't get it two times in a row. I understand the need and the want to Dan Campbell, and be like that's what KOC was trying to do. It was fucking beat him by being Dan Campbell. And honestly, I would have maybe kicked the field goal because we're not really we haven't really been going for it on fourth down all season. That's not really our style. It's like if we would have taken the points, we would have had a little bit of a lead going into the second half. We wouldn't have looked. It wouldn't have been so much pressure on Darnold. I just feel like he was out. He was in a funk. It was extremely frustrating to watch. Also, it's not like Jared Goff looked great in this game. We picked him off two times. There was a total bullshit um intentional grounding call, I think, in the end zone where he just literally it would have should have been a safety. He was essentially dead to rights sacked, and he just throws it at number 89. I don't even know who that is. He did not check in as a receiver, I'm pretty sure. For that, it was nowhere near Gibbs, and they get away with it. It's not an intentional grounding. They're able to punt it still or whatever. They might even have gotten a first down after that. But yeah, you could tell frustration boiled over for me in this game. It was really brutal to watch. And then the second half, things just get blown wide the fuck open, dude. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, we can't stop him. Darnold still can't hit a broadside of a barn. Um, JJ, do I dare say he didn't play his best game? I will say the Lions. I didn't like the refs in this game. There was a lot of holds I saw that were not called. The Lions were just kind of fucking getting away with a lot of different things. It seemed like on the defensive side, but Darnold also wasn't really throwing great passes, so that not of all of them were maybe catchable balls. Maybe that's why they weren't throwing flags on some holding calls. But yeah, overall, we got our asses handed to us in the biggest game, and it did affirm some or confirm, I should say, some
Oh,
of my
dude.
fears.
I've been
Um,
waiting for this all year. Just waiting for the Darnold master class, dude. 18 of
Disaster ass
41,
class, dude. It was
166 yards of
disaster
an
class,
average
bro.
of four. Four. Did you get it? An average of four.
Yeah, it was terrible, bro. It was
In
it was it was literally everything I was nervous about. But I was like, damn, our defense actually looks very solid. I mean, we could have picked off Goff three times, and we probably still would have lost that game because Darnold was so bad. He was so bad.
yeah,
And
he was
I'm glad we haven't paid him yet. I still have faith. He did get us here, so I can't just hate on him, 1,000%, or be like, we're gonna dump him because he still did get us here, and he's still gonna get a fat contract probably for either us or somewhere in the offseason. But if he looks anywhere close to this on Monday night, it's gonna be. I mean, Vikings fans will be on suicide watch, and me myself included. So,
I thought it was
um,
interesting. I mean, the Lions only had 2 sacks, but they had 10 QB hits, and that's what watching it looked like a lot of times it was just, you know, yes, he was under pressure, but he's also been under pressure a lot this year and had been playing well. I think I saw a couple weeks ago against the Blitz, he was like, he was playing like top 8 against the Blitz, which, the Packers were applying a lot of pressure to him too the previous week, but he ended up just, kind of shimmying out and finding some, check down or whatever downfield. But this time around, it was,
well, he cooked y'all. He cooked y'all, but
dude, he was under. he was literally running around the pocket, throwing it to Cam Akers. Like, come on.
We'll talk. We'll
Yeah,
talk. We'll talk about that one another time. But yeah, let's keep it to this game. I mean, uh,
yeah, that's disaster, and nothing worse than seeing that before the playoffs start. Going on the road to LA. Um, I think I think the betting markets have seen, enough. They're starting to. Last I saw, they opened at 2. They're currently 1. So, it's a coin flip in this game. So, anyways, let's just
yeah.
start talking about the playoff game. Let's take a quick
Well,
break though.
hold on. Yeah. I mean, this was every Vikings fan's worst nightmare, dude. And this was my concern. I mean, I guess we can get into it in the playoff game, but this is my concern is that we again way outperform. KSC has us winning these games, and Brian Flores, smokes and screen. Like I think our defense is actually good. The offense has weapons, but there is definitely holes. It's not like we have studs running all over the place. It's like there's definitely some areas where we need serious help, and like KOC just has us outperforming, and I'm concerned that it's gonna be the same as 2022, dude.
It's gonna
I'm very
crash.
concerned
This
because
one's gonna crash way worse, being 14-3.
I mean we were 10-0. We were 10-0 in 2022, bro.
Yeah, but 13-3 to end, right? Or
Something like I don't remember exactly, but
yeah, it was because they're the worst 13 win team of all time. So this
I
might be the
think
worst
our
14.
defense is at least better. But it like fuck, dude, we might
This
have
is
to
gonna
get
be
Daniel Jones a chance
you
on
guys are going
Monday
for the
night.
you guys are going for the record. Worst 13 and a 3 team, worst
I
14 and 3
know.
team, dude. This is gonna be
I'm definitely concerned. Like my
and back
whole
to
like I'm
KOC,
an
dude.
overreactor, but
KOC
he
was
didn't
like
look good.
he was just doing too much, dude. He was, you know, just I think he went for it the first time down there, didn't get it because Darnold sucks, and then they kicked the field goal, and then the next 2 times didn't kick the field goal, and it's like, they could have went into halftime with a like 16-10 lead or something, 13-10 at the worst. So, I felt like that was a big momentum swing. It's just those two horrible red zone executions that they had. So
Yeah, no, 1,000%. And I think Darnold is he missed wide open throws on both of those.
yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, and Goff, it's not like Goff looked incredible in this game. It's like, yeah, he got into a groove because then all of a sudden the pressure's off. All the pressure shifted to us because we couldn't score. And our kicker, I mean, where's the John Parker Romo signing, dude? Reichert, I like Reichert for the future. However, right now this guy's got the yips. This is the perfect time for him to have the yips. This
Yeah,
guy,
he looked
I
really
mean,
bad against the Packers too.
yeah. Oh, I think he missed damn near three kicks. I don't know what's going on,
He,
dude.
he he missed 2 and he should have missed 3, but there was that bullshit offsides.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's crazy
Uh,
too because you turn on a college football game and you'll watch him just bang 50 yarders, no doubt.
I
And
mean,
then
he was like that to start the season. He's a very talented kid, but
I'll say
um,
across the NFL in general, though, it's like, dude, the
yeah,
level of kicking is worse in college, and I don't know what it is. It's just like
it's a pressure, bro.
I don't give a fuck, dude. It's one one job. I think it's not high pressure to go catch a pass in the corner of the end zone with 2 dudes on you. Give me a break.
Right.
It's like, that's what you're there to do. So,
Yeah.
um,
So
wrapped up, most of the week 18 memorable moments. So let's move into some of the playoff matchups we're going to see here. Starting with the first game, which is going to be Chargers Texans. What are you looking for in this one?
yeah. I mean, I can just tell you right away the Chargers are going to win this game, at least in my opinion. The Chargers are a much stronger team. They have really started to get it together here, and the Texans have kind of just been hanging on. Looks like the spread is LA -3. Um, I think the Chargers, yeah, they'll win this game, and I'm looking looking towards seeing some more Lad McConkey in this game. It's nice to have J.K. Dobbins back as well. He's looked good last, or at least I didn't really watch last week, but he looked decent the week before. What about you? What are you looking forward to this in this game?
Chargers are gonna win this by more than three. I'll tell you that. Don't really know. Honestly, to me, this seems like a 7 point game. At the end of the day, just kind of looking at how Houston's played coming down the stretch, how the Chargers have played coming down the stretch. The only way this isn't is if, it ends up being like a 13-10 defensive battle because the Texans are capable of doing that. But, you know, Chargers have a solid defense. I think they're going to get some turnovers and make Stroud just really uncomfortable all game.
Yeah, agreed, man. Honestly, I don't really even have too many more thoughts about it. Like,
I
I
think
haven't,
this is probably one of the worst playoff games we have here,
I,
if not the
of course,
worst.
it's at 3:30 on Saturday too. I feel like those games are all like Texans
Yeah.
always play at this time. But this is a classic, yeah. Is it all? It's all AFC, obviously on Saturday, classic, and then yeah,
So Ravens Steelers will be the next one. Baltimore by 9.5. I think
oh
again, I think Baltimore's going to cover that. They just played, they just beat the brakes off Steelers they just are like depressed, it seems, they want it to be over. George Pickens is just waiting to get on a boat somewhere. I don't think this is a good game either. I think the Saturday games are both going to be kind of ugly.
yeah, I feel you there. Yeah, considering they just played and if they hadn't just played and the Ravens hadn't just beat them, I would say the Steelers had a lot more of a chance here for an upset. Um, However, unless the only thing I could, the only way this game is close is really if Lamar Jackson just has one of those outlying playoff games like he's had before, where it almost seems he's overthinking it a little bit. But he did make the AFC Championship game last year. Don't really see him fumbling the bag this early, and the Steelers are just kind of reeling right now and just yeah, I think I agree with your statement here.
No, I can see the Steelers can make kind of close if TJ Watt just has like one of his master classes, strip sack. They get like another fumble return, something or other. But outside of like the defense being their best player, their best part of the ball, like there's just no way.
For sure. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if I mean, like, what do you think moving forward? I guess say the Steelers lose this game. Russ, are you sticking with him next year? Are you still interested in Fields? You don't really have a high enough pick to make any sort of crazy switch there, but
I
are you
think
sticking
the
with Russ? I mean, Russ is like he looked good, and hasn't looked bad all year, but he's a game manager, dude. He's just a game manager, and I just feel like their ceiling. I don't
I
know.
think they just regressed as a whole offensive unit. Like
Yeah,
Pickens doesn't look good. I mean, they brought in Mike Williams to be a guy. They haven't really featured him at all. I mean, Najee Jalen Warren combo is probably about as mid as it could possibly get. Um, so I don't know.
yeah. They're just not a fun team. They're not a
No,
fun team to watch at all.
no,
Like
like I said,
Fryermuth, he's come on as of late, but
it's gonna be the defense is gonna have to keep them in it and possibly win it for them. A couple strip sacks, that type of thing.
right,
But if they get down early, I think it's over. Because they're not gonna be able to move the
yeah.
ball and put up points. So
And then Derrick Henry, you just unleashed Derrick Henry in the fucking late in the third quarter, and he just closes it out.
yep,
And so, yeah, we can move on from this game. I think we both like the Ravens. 9.5 is a tall. I don't know. That seems like a lot to me, but it also seems possible for sure. Could be a 27-10 game, honestly.
yeah. I see. There's gonna have to score some points here. Bills Broncos. Bills by 8.5. This is tricky. I mean, Bills will win this. It's just what's the weather gonna be like in Buffalo? Is it gonna be snowy, cold? Um, at Bo Nix is gonna get harassed. I know that. Um, I don't see the Broncos being able to do a ton on offense, but just depending on that weather and how that shakes out, will the Bills be able to, have their normal game plan? It does look like right now it's 30, 30, no snow. So, but a lot can change in Buffalo. But I like the Bills by a lot in this too.
I like the Bills in this game. Does look like Amari Cooper's dealing with some personal issues, but that doesn't really seem to matter. It's not like he's done that much for him this year, anyways. And Josh Allen, if Josh Allen is who he's been all year, this game shouldn't be close. But yeah, I guess the weather could impact a little bit.
Yeah. AFC games in general are just kind of terrible. The top dogs are much better, it seems, than who they got. But NFC is a different story. So let's move over there. First game or second game on Sunday is going to be Packers Eagles. So this one, I mean, this depends on the Jordan Love you get, dude. Like, is he going to be out there and slinging it? And especially, I think key for them is just getting up early and then letting Josh Jacobs eat and kind of just, being methodical. I do. I mean, they beat the Eagles last time they won the Super Bowl, by the way, in Philly. So I think it's shaping up nicely.
2011.
I think it's shaping up nicely to go down there and kind of upset them. I really don't think the Eagles are who they were, let's say week 10, where they looked, like a machine, especially on defense. Defense looks a little more sus. Jalen Hurts, I'm sure he's gonna play, but if he gets hit, how is he gonna bounce right back up? Who knows? And on the other side, I mean, you gotta stop Saquon, but Packers have had some pretty good run defense the last couple of weeks. Edgerrin Cooper looks like, if not the best linebacker in the league, a top three linebacker as a rookie. And we'll see. I think this is probably one of the best matchups there is. So
I agree with you. Yeah, this is one of the best playoff games there is this week. Yeah, I think in my opinion, it definitely is going to come down a little bit to how do Jordan Love and how do Jalen Hurts play. Jalen Hurts coming off a concussion, hasn't played the last couple weeks, and Jordan Love did get hurt, and he's young. He's still it's kind of dependent on which version of him you're going to get. Um, I hate to say it, but I think the Eagles are definitely the better team here. The Packers have not looked good against some of these top teams in the NFC. I mean, what was their record in the
I mean,
in the NFC, by the way?
they played the
Or
Eagles week 1 of the season and lost
I
by
know it was a
five
close game.
on
It was
some
a close
on
game. It
some
was a close
fluke.
game. What was your guys' record in the NFC North though? One and
I
five.
mean, it's still a better point differential than Vikings.
I don't know. I would definitely be. I think this is one of the better games. I just feel like the Eagles.
If the
Unless
Packers
Jalen
have
Hurts
a
comes out here and
Packers weakness is pass defense, I mean,
yeah, Jalen Hurts is going to have to do
yeah, he's
enough, but he
he's gonna
really
have to.
hasn't had to do that much with Saquon. So unless Saquon has some,
I'm
a
not.
very poor game, you guys got your hands full here.
I'm much more worried about just making sure if they get their passing game going, then yeah, all of a sudden Saquon will become a beast because you can't just sit on it. But Jalen Hurts hasn't played. AJ Brown is, doing his
That's where I think
thing.
you guys have a bit of a, not an advantage, but that's what evens things out a little bit more as well as Jalen Hurts hasn't played in a little while now. So,
They're also
um,
getting Quay Walker back. They're starting safety Evan Williams back. They haven't had them in a couple weeks. So I I'm not too concerned about Saquon. I am concerned if the pass game gets going that then Saquon will be, you know, much
unleashed.
more of a beast because you can't just sit on him. So
Yeah. Well, should be a great game for sure. But that's one I'm definitely going to be intently watching. Looks like the weather I mean, it isn't Philly, but weather should be all right.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, just going in there with no pressure. I mean, you're not expected to win 7 seed going to the 2 seed. So I did that last year. Went on the road, beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. So
that's
I
true.
I
That's true.
think
You guys definitely outperformed your kind of prediction for what you guys would, what people thought you were capable of. And yeah, you beat the brakes off of Dallas last year, but that Dallas team is they are mental midgets.
I think the Eagles. You could say the same with Sirianni.
Yeah, but they've been to a Super Bowl, man. They've been to a Super Bowl with a very
That's
similar squad.
that's all
I don't
right.
know. We'll see. We'll see. We might have to get our Eagles get an Eagles fan on here next week and y'all can hash it out. But
I'm gonna start
let's
crying.
let's watch or let's move on to Commanders Bucks. What are you looking forward to in this game?
I think the Commanders are gonna get exposed as fraudulent, and the Bucks are not gonna play great, but do enough to win this game. I think it's. I just. I mean, the Commanders snuck in. It's definitely they're for sure the worst team in this playoffs. I think we can agree on that on the NFC side. Um, I just don't see them being able to do much. I mean, Jaden Daniels will have just a master class for them to win this game. I think Buccaneers will control the ball. Bucky Irving, Rashad White um, will do enough on offense, and then just wait for the Commanders inevitably to not be able to put a full game together. So that's
Bucks have
just
an
what I
elite, yeah, Bucks have
that's
an
just what I see.
elite pass rush as or excuse me, run defense as well. With Vita Vea, like we talked about. So yeah, it really is gonna be shouldered a lot by Jaden Daniels. I don't know though, dude. Like minus, you know, I think this is gonna be a very close game, bro.
I think
Um,
Bucks at home, dude. I'm taking the Bucks all day. There's just no
yeah,
ifs, ands, or buts.
dude,
I just don't see the Commanders being able to
put up enough points.
just put a full game together, really. I mean,
Yeah, they haven't looked impressive for you know
they were
even
losing.
that Eagles win that they had. It was against a backup quarterback, and there was 5 turnovers in that game. It's just such a young team. Don't really have any idea what they're getting. They
They
probably
cut
will lose this game, but I could also see them winning. But yeah, I think you're right with, Bucks. Bucks should be favored in this game. It should be a decent game. As long as you get the same Baker you've had all year. And Matt Baker has had 41 touchdowns and 16 picks. It's pretty impressive.
they played first week of the season too. Tampa Bay beat them 37-20. I don't think it's gonna be that bad, but I think let's go 30-17, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, some of these matchups are not that great. I kind of thought they're decent, but
I think the Buccaneers are probably they got the most benefit out of everyone here, just getting the Commanders first, and then they'll likely play Rams Vikings winner. So um,
yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, well, let's move into that game, and then we can talk about potentials for what we think might happen. But um, yeah, so Monday night for all the marbles here, um, Vikings at Rams. Oh, we got the 5 seed. What are the Rams? They're the 4 seed.
mhm.
Yeah. Um, Infuriating being 14-3 and having to play a 10-7 Rams team at the Rams. Particularly one that beat us earlier in the season. Um, this, in my opinion, is just going to come down to the quarterback play of on both teams. You know, the Rams haven't really looked great as of late by any means. They've came came out with a couple close wins. However, when they played us with Puka, with Cooper Cup and Kyron, like They fucking cooked us all the way up and down the field. I think our defense has gotten a lot better since then, actually. Um, well, I think we just kind of had an off day, to be honest.
So I think I do. The Vikings are better, um, but at the same time, I Rams, they're tricky. They're like such a tr just a weird team with McVay there. You never know what they're gonna do. Like I said, I think the Vikings are the better football team, but just history of Minnesota sports, history of just what I expect. I don't expect them to win, but I think they're better.
Yeah,
So
they should win.
this is the biggest coin
Okay, I'm
flip.
trying to just talk myself as a fan into there's not as much pressure, so
Yeah,
Darnold's
well
going to go out there and play freely.
that's delusional, and
Um,
he's gonna be tight if anything. And on the other side, I mean, it's a team that basically just always is out there to have fun with McVay. I mean, you got a 50-year-old Stafford back there who's you're going to throw it 80 times. So
yeah,
we'll
I
see.
mean,
I think this is the
it's
hardest
good.
one to predict for me in terms of
Yeah.
I can't really see how this plays out at
I
all.
just really think it just depends on the play, like the play of both on of each quarterback, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
could
we
say that about
need to get
every
a
game.
Darnold. Like we can't win with anything close to a shell of himself like we saw last week.
And
So
yeah, and that's what I'm
the
saying.
O line needs to play.
There's
The
going to
O
be
line needs.
much more pressure this week
Well, at least he had one high pressure game last week to maybe
to look really good in. Yeah,
yeah, no. But yeah, no, I'm nervous as all hell. I'm not confident in this game. I'm not confident in this game.
I wouldn't be either, personally.
So I am probably more confident in this game than I would be as a Packers fan playing the Eagles, but I'm still not confident in this game.
I would not be.
You're not going to win that
There's
game.
actually a pretty easy path to victory for the Packers. Like it's go score and give it to Jacobs and shut down Saquon. And with the Vikings game, it's what quarterback are we gonna
Stop
get?
Puka.
What quarterback are we gonna get to start? And if he is good, can we stop them? There's just way more that has to go right for the Vikings, in my opinion. The Packers just have to go out and play.
I think if our defense can play like they did in that first half last week, then we should be able to beat this team.
I would
Um,
agree. But you just never know what you're gonna get with Darnold now.
yeah, it
He
is big.
went
It's a
he
big what
went and
if
put a
factor.
big fucking question mark right on his head, you know.
Yeah,
He did it to himself. I don't do it.
yeah. No, I don't feel confident. Maybe I am delusional at this point. I might not even. Oh no, I don't know. Yeah, I'm nervous. But let's move on. That's the week. That's the slate for that.
Can you imagine
Uh,
too if the Packers win early in the day on Sunday and then the Vikings have to sleep on it and
dude,
come
you
back
are
Monday night?
just as delusional as I am.
Imagine the pressure that will be mounting.
Well,
It's
I
just
would much rather play the Packers than, if we were able to win that game. I would much rather. Well, okay,
they
so
won't be
let's
playing
talk
the
through
Packers.
hypotheticals here though. So, say basically
The Packers win, they go to the Lions, no matter what.
they go to Lions. Okay. Um,
From there, if the
either
Packers
way,
win, it's really easy. But if the Packers lose,
you're
then it
looking good.
becomes a conundrum of everyone else because then the Eagles get home and will play the second lowest seed. So,
I see.
or they'd play the lowest seed. Well, the Lions get like the worst team left.
Hmm. Yeah, Dan Campbell's famous. We'll see you in 2 weeks. It's like, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, you're not gonna see them in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because they'll have lost already, bro.
No, because the Packers will be playing them in 2 weeks.
It's
The
God, things just
Vikings
got
can
so much more sketchy.
the Vikings can go travel to Bakerland and just get carved up.
It's not like you're coming into this game with any momentum, buddy.
Yeah, right.
You've lost the last 2 weeks. At least we've won one of the last 2 weeks.
We didn't even have a team last week. We didn't just try our dick off on national television. We get blown out.
Yeah, well,
The whole
I
all
don't
of
think you're
America
sitting any prettier than us
all
here.
of America just saw that disaster class.
Dude. We'll see which Darnold we get. I
I
mean,
know which one's gonna you're gonna get.
yeah, this could either just confirm all my fears and just I'll be 100, I'll be 100,000% in back on the Timberwolves then because at least they've won a playoff game in the last 6 years.
I can't wait for
Um,
Darnold to play so bad that he tanks all his trade value, and now you're just stuck with him. You went from thinking you could flip him or JJ for somebody,
we
and now you're just
there
gonna
would be
get
no trade. There is no trade value for Darnold. I'm pretty sure we signed him to a 1 year deal here. So,
okay. Well, his signing ability,
yeah, I mean,
you're not able to just easily make the decision anymore.
yeah, I mean,
Sucks, man.
I
Hate,
mean,
I hate that it had to go this way for you, dude.
yeah, okay,
I
okay,
wish things
whatever.
were
Let's
different.
hold your horses here. We still got a very competitive roster and on a fucking rebuild year, we went 14-3. So
Yeah,
it's tough
it
for fans because,
keep calling it a rebuild when you're gonna get the 27th draft pick.
I mean, we had Sam Darnold at quarterback and a defense that's like
That you're
we had like no
claiming is
quarterback.
superstars.
I did never claim there was any superstars. We have three good players that we added this year.
Okay, well,
Blake
you're claiming
Cashman,
their defense is
Jonathan
good.
Grenard, and Van Ginkel.
If you're in
But
a rebuild year, you're not trying to win a Super Bowl. So that which
well,
one
it
is
just so
it?
happens when KOC's your coach, you can just kind of win
Thir
14 games
13
with a rebuild roster.
Daniel Jones.
If things go horribly, horribly wrong, we might see Nick Mullins in this game. Daniel Jones, we will not see in this game. He will not be playing. And I
No,
don't.
no, he's your worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah, no, we're not. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
No, I'm talking. You don't want to see him in the playoffs when you're 13-3.
Oh. Well, that was thanks to Ed Donatel, your old
Dude,
your Packers guy,
he should be
his
he should have
defensive scheme.
Daniel Jones should give you a handwritten thank you note for letting him get paid 40 million a year.
He should. He should. Yeah,
You
no, I'm fucking worried. I'm not. I'm not looking forward to. I'm not looking for. I'm gonna just close my eyes. I'm gonna go to bed at six p.m. on Monday night.
I mean, you're gonna be drinking
Ah, as a
yourself.
true fan, I'm gonna watch this game and I'm gonna watch every freaking second. But yeah, I'm nervous. It's been
You're
a
gonna be
while since we haven't won a playoff game since 2020. So I shouldn't say 6 years, but
That's a long
uh,
time.
it's been 5 years, I think.
A long time.
But all right, let's move on. Do you want to talk about these college football games here?
Yeah, let's do a quick recap on the playoffs here. So Penn State 31, Boise 14. This one was just a joke. It's only been 1 year, but I'm just sick of how they seeded these teams. Like why is Boise, why is ASU getting first round
Doesn't make
buys?
any.
Like let's start going off actual merit and not whatever
I
that
was
is.
telling you this though, bro, in the Mountain West Conference. Like I was telling you this. Like, I mean, keep going, but
I just don't understand. It makes no sense at all. You have Ohio State playing Oregon in the quarterfinals when Oregon earned that. Oregon didn't earn to have to play arguably the best team. You know what I mean? They should be playing Boise. They should be playing ASU. I'm not like slighting ASU for what they did. Like they look good, they played good. But we're talking like a 11-2 team. We're talking a team that plays in the Mountain West, getting first round buys just to get stormed. Like, come on, give it a break.
yeah. No, this is it's been a shit show, honestly.
So
Yeah,
I
I
was
just I don't.
really disgusted with that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, at least at least Arizona State, they looked the part to have a bye potentially. Or maybe not. They didn't deserve to have a bye, but they at least played Texas very close. But yeah, I didn't get the seedings at all. Like the seedings didn't make any sense to me once you watch these games. Um,
It should be
even
reseed. It should be just like the NFL is getting reseed. Like I don't know, makes no sense, but whatever.
yeah. Well, that game was discussed. Texas 39, ASU 31.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great game. ASU should have won this. There was an absolute egregious no call on that targeting. Would have put them in field goal range to end it potentially in regulation. Didn't get called. I don't see another team in the world getting that besides Texas. Just felt wrong. Um, Arizona State played, super hard. Thought they deserved to win it, but end of the day, it's game's over already. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought with the way that ASU was playing, I was positive they were going to win this game, and I didn't see all the plays. I actually must have missed that no call there, but um, Texas looked sketchy, and I think their run is coming to an end here.
agreed. Ohio State, Oregon. I mean, this was just over from the start. Ohio State came out and just overpowered Oregon, who they were missing some guys, but I just feel bad for them. They're number one seed, having to play them second after a bye. Like I said, I mean, all the teams that had a bye ended up losing. I don't know if you're going to attribute that to rust. I don't know if you're going to attribute it to being the wrong teams getting the bye, but whatever. I don't know. Don't have too many takeaways from this. They were all not phenomenal games besides the ASU one, who should have won. And then Notre Dame, Georgia. I mean, Georgia just looked like a shell of their old selves. I mean, no back, but it's just no excuse. Notre Dame handled them. It was over after that kick return touchdown, and I'm glad. I mean, like I said, I picked Notre Dame to win this before it started, and I don't see them being able to get past Ohio State anymore. But
You don't see Notre Dame being able to get past Ohio State.
no,
Yeah. Ohio State really has after that tough loss to Michigan. I mean, maybe the toughest loss ever, but I think, my money's on them winning it all. The Notre Dame game was one of the better games, like you said, that Oregon Ohio State wasn't even fucking close. Um,
there's just no
it,
team that can match up with how quick Ohio State can score and play D. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
Notre Dame's got probably actually I'd say for sure a better defense, but in terms of like being able to match that output, it's not going to happen. It's going to have to be a low scoring game where they just ground and pound with some of their backs. But um, there's just so much NFL talent on an Ohio State team. It's insane.
per usual, of course, but
Usually they just don't put together, so
right,
it's
right, yeah. Will Howard has looked good recently. Um, Leonard too, in that game, I watched that game more intently. I wish they split these games up a little bit more and not just tried to run them all on New Year's Day. Like, you know,
well
it's
they
kind of
they didn't because of the shooting or the
right. I know, but regardless of that, I'm not taking that into account. I wish that they split the games up and didn't just run them all on one day. I mean, I just think this first trial year is like it's been gross so far. It hasn't been entertaining yet. So they got some things to figure out, but that comes with um, a whole new playoff bracket. So, but yeah,
Mhm. Look ahead to the next matchups. I mean, Texas, Ohio State. I think Texas potentially they definitely have the most NFL caliber players on their team besides Ohio State. So in that, I think they could kind of keep it close. But if we see anything, if Will Howard plays for Ohio State like he did, like there's just no chance. Like there's just no chance. I'd like this to be a game because I'd like to see Ohio State lose. I want Notre Dame to win it, but I just don't know how that will happen. Um, I guess what do you think?
Yeah, I think the final is going to be Notre Dame, Ohio State, and then probably not that close of a game. I haven't watched any of these Penn State games very um, intently. Um, I think Texas has gotten as far as they will go as far as that game, but my prediction would definitely be for the college football playoff is Ohio State winning. It would be sick if Notre Dame, if they could get into a battle with Notre Dame and in the championship, because that's what I think is going to happen is those two teams moving on. But
Yeah, I don't know. Penn State has some good players. They're not really the greatest team overall, but they definitely have a couple guys that are really, really good. So Notre Dame's got to shut them down, and I think they'll take care of them. Um,
yeah, for sure, they have a better defense. Um, well, yeah. Anything else? Anything else you want to mention?
no, I think that wraps it up. I mean, looking forward to coming back next week and just talking about NFL playoffs, these playoff games, and
For
hopefully,
sure.
hopefully the Packers are going to Detroit.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that, man. It'll be uh it'll be a tough episode. If, if we both lose, it's gonna be brutal.
Might just cancel the show.
But no, not canceling the show, but
Joke.
yeah, no, definitely we got some tall we got some tall tasks on our hands. I mean, the Vikings shouldn't, but they just put themselves in the highest pressure cooker situations of all time. I'm
Thought
just
you said
pretending.
they. I thought you said there was no
You know,
pressure.
well, you know what? There isn't. In my mind, that's
There's
what
a
they
lot of
need.
pressure.
They need a anxiety bubble. Like an anxiety bubble above the stadium. Just no pressure.
Darnold's cooked. Darnold's getting ran out of town.
I still think he's probably gonna get a fat contract, like regardless if he wants to stick. If I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, if we can get back on track, that'd be great. That'd be great. Um, Time will tell. It hasn't. History has not been the kindest to the Vikings in the past in the
Yeah.
playoffs. A
All
lot of
right. We get
playoff.
it. We get it. You're spewing. All right. Let's wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for
Yeah,
listening. And see you next week.
appreciate it, guys.
Peace. Peace.
Peace.